Just over 3.5 years after a general election defeat, this Labour movement is more united, more determined, more in touch than ever. Yes, once again, we have a Tory government cutting taxes for the rich, while over 900,000 young people are in unemployment and child poverty is forecast to rise again. But this time, Ed Miliband and Labour are leading the debate, setting the agenda and speaking up for middle and lower income people, working people who are facing a cost of living crisis. Ed's been right to argue the cost of living crisis is central. It's undermining support for a Tory-led government which promised to make people better off. This government promised strong, balanced growth, rising living standards, and the budget deficit gone by 2015. The fact is, they've delivered the slowest recovery for over 100 years, real wages down by an average of £1,600 a year for working people, painful spending cuts extended well into the next Parliament now because 3 years of flatlining means the government is now planning to borrow over £200 billion more than they planned, simply to catch up the lost growth. Compared to their promises in 2010, we need 1.5% growth a quarter between now and the general election. When the deficit is still high, when tough times are now set to last well into the next Parliament, when for ordinary families their incomes are falling and the taxes are rising, it cannot be right for David Cameron and George Osborne to have chosen to give the richest people in our country a huge tax cut. That's why, for the next Parliament, the next Labour government will reverse this government's top-rate tax cut so we can finish the job of getting the deficit down fairly. For the next Parliament, we will restore the 50p top rate of tax for those earning over £150,000. Reversing this unfair tax cut for the richest 1% of people in the country is necessary so that we can cut the deficit in a fair way in the next Parliament. Can Labour change Britain? My answer today is a resounding yes. By setting out tough and credible fiscal rules, by supporting the long-term growth that will earn our way to higher living standards and help reduce the deficit, by rooting out waste in public spending, by making fairer choices on tax and benefit reform, by pursuing radical reforms to tackle the cost of living crisis and build an economy that works for working people, I believe, under Ed Miliband's leadership, Labour can change Britain. Working with business to make our economy more dynamic, but challenging business to support difficult reforms which promote competition and long-term value. Recognising the important role that trade unions play in our economy, but challenging trade unions to change as we reform our party for a new century. Supporting the most vulnerable, abolishing the bedroom tax, but proposing tough reforms to put work first. Pro-European, but not ducking the big reforms we need in Europe. Open to the outside world, but refusing to accept a race to the bottom where low-paid, low-skilled work becomes the norm. Celebrating wealth creation and entrepreneurs, but clear that the richest must pay their fair share of the burden. Labour has changed. Let us now win the trust of the British people so that together we can deliver the change Britain needs. Thank you.